the pain like.
Hey guys, dearyoongi here, and welcome back to my channel. In light of recent news that HYBE seems to have requested the resignation of Ador CEO Min Hee Jin, I wanted us to debate the following topic. Would Ador's girl group NewJeans be better off with or without Min Hee Jin's input? For those who haven't seen any of my debate videos before, we usually start off by exploring why we are looking at this topic before looking at the arguments for and against. And just to be fair, I'll throw my 2 cents in at the end too before asking you guys to do the same. So without further ado, let's start by first looking at why this topic has even come to light. Ador is a music label which was founded as a wholly owned subsidiary of HYBE in 2021. At the time of us speaking, it is predicted that Ador's CEO Min Hee Jin is in ownership of about 18 to 20% of shares in the label, with the rest belonging to HYBE. At the moment, Ador has one girl group under their management who we all know very well, and that is NewJeans. NewJeans debuted in 2022, and most would like to know and recognize them for their girl next door and 90s styling and image. However, this has unfortunately been overshadowed by the many controversies NewJeans have found themselves caught up in during their short time as an active promoting group. And many believe that a lot of the controversies the girls have faced, some of which we will look at quickly later, is largely due to the input of Ador's CEO Min Hee Jin, who herself has quite the history of controversy with K-pop groups where her involvement was present. And we have very recently had yet another example of this. After receiving a tip-off in relation to some suspect activity, HYBE began their investigation into Ador and Min Hee Jin's activities, finding substantial evidence which led them to believe that Min Hee Jin and Ador's other executives have been looking to acquire full management and ownership of shares in Ador. Information they found to come to this conclusion included evidence that CEO A in question had been securing a large number of trade secrets from HYBE, wrongfully obtaining sensitive information, and even using a HYBE employee to do this. Following the results of their investigation so far, HYBE have apparently asked Min Hee Jin for her resignation. In attempt of her defense, Min Hee Jin has released a statement claiming that the main cause of conflict between HYBE Corp and Ador is due to them copying the work she has produced for NewJeans with their newest girl group, ILIT. This is definitely a huge story in K-pop media at the moment, and at the time of me making this video, it is still very much unfolding. However, this controversy or any of the others Min Hee Jin has been involved with are not necessarily what today's video is really about. Like we have already said, it is not the first time NewJeans have seemed to have been dragged into a high-intensity controversy at the hands of those in charge of them. So it has got me thinking, at this point, hypothetically, if Ador and HYBE were to remove Min Hee Jin from their management team, which could happen, would the girls be better off with Min Hee Jin behind the scenes and involved with them, or without, especially if her presence means them getting wrapped up in more scandals? Before we decide our thoughts on that question, I have gathered a few arguments for backing up both sides of this. Therefore, let's first start by looking at the yes arguments, aka those who believe that NewJeans would be better off without Min Hee Jin. First reason some may say yes to this debate is because without Min Hee Jin, the girls will receive less negative publicity. Like we have already mentioned, for a group who have only been around for 2 years thus far, NewJeans have unfortunately found themselves at the centre of some quite controversial situations a number of times already. In my previous video discussing the issue of outrage marketing in K-pop, where groups may appear to be in shocking situations quite often with the aim of getting a reaction from the public, even if it's a negative one, we looked at NewJeans and how they seem to be a group who always spring to mind for a lot of us when we think about groups who always seem to be shocking us in the media. And that's because a lot of news stories that come out about them often seem to be quite negative or surrounded by controversy. Examples of these include their ETA comeback, which had a lot of similarities with the Spanish terrorist organization, their song Cookie, which seemed to have very suggestive innuendos embedded in the lyrics, even though multiple members of the group were minors at the time, appearing to use mental illness as an aesthetic for their OMG music video, and the list goes on. Although it is expected that some groups may somehow find themselves involved in controversy at least a couple of times in their career, the number of issues NewJeans seem to have had has not been normal for the length of their time as a group, especially considering they were still still rookies when most of these have occurred. Many fans believe the reason the girls have been so heavily involved in all of these controversies is due to the guidance and vision of Ador's CEO, Min Hee Jin. As well as being Ador's CEO, Min Hee Jin is also listed as creative director, something which she does have a history of doing in her previous role at none other than SM Entertainment. Her input was used there in branding and concepts of some huge names such as Girls' Generation, SHINee, FX, EXO, and Red Velvet. Although her resume did excite some fans because it was impressive, this was soon replaced by disgust when fans discovered her Instagram and found clusters of pictures which included both nude women and underage girls. Then a lot of Min Hee Jin's actions with NewJeans suddenly felt a bit more odd and sinister, and fans did not appreciate 1. The inappropriate concepts the girls were given now they had a little bit of insight into Min Hee Jin's creative process, and 2. The way in which the girls always seemed to be wrapped up in negative press while in her hands. Therefore, we can't help but think, if NewJeans were no longer being creatively led by Min Hee Jin, surely this would also come with the extra added bonus of less negative press, something which so far has been very damaging to their image. We could hopefully move towards a future where whenever there's something negative in the press, NewJeans aren't always seemingly involved in it, and the girls can carry on growing themselves and their careers in the solace that there isn't somebody behind the scenes secretly trying to do anything possible to generate some shock at their expense. Another reason why some people think yes, NewJeans would be better off without Min Hee Jin is because the girls could potentially be safer in the hands of HYBE. Although it has been the subject of a lot of controversy, it is no secret that HYBE are one of the absolute giants within the K-pop industry nowadays. I would argue that we don't really even have a big 3 or big 4 like some people are saying anymore. We have HYBE as like the biggest overlord, with your big 3 then beneath it, and then like everybody else. It's become a lot more of a hierarchy than it used to be. This is because of HYBE's actions buying up other labels, debuting new groups who take off to a crazy level of fame so early on, and even somehow giving some existing groups a new lease of life sometimes. It's no secret that HYBE labels are where the money is at the moment. It sounds like an awkward topic to address, but having sufficient funds and backing is pretty much essential to survival of any K-pop group. And that is something that we can guarantee that HYBE will be able to provide for NewJeans. Although HYBE's numerous acquisitions has caused conflicting opinions amongst fans, for the artists involved, it probably feels like one of the safer label establishments you could be at the moment. And while yes, the girls will already be receiving HYBE's support financially, of course, because Ador is still part of HYBE's labels, without Min Hee Jin around, it is likely that HYBE would then have 100% ownership of NewJeans and their label Ador, and that would therefore also mean they would control the way in which the girls are managed, even more so than they do now. This would hopefully mean less controversies, and in the long run, this would benefit the girls. Although some damage has already been done to them and their image thanks to Min Hee Jin's previous marketing tactics with the girls, who knows, the path for their future could be much clearer under HYBE's management only. They could get concepts that are more age appropriate and don't offend multiple groups of people in the process. HYBE's strategy with their other groups doesn't seem to have done them much harm so far, especially the groups they created themselves, and these are groups who have been involved in much less controversy than NewJeans have. And one final reason why some people might feel NewJeans would be better off without Min Hee Jin is because of internal conflicts and a difficult work environment that remaining with Min Hee Jin could cause. Amongst some of the other serious information HYBE found, which appeared to show Min Hee Jin and Ador trying to tarnish the image of HYBE during their efforts to acquire sole ownership of Ador, allegations have also surfaced of difficulties staff are experiencing working with her at the label. And these are not just new allegations coming to light now. A staff member who previously worked with Min Hee Jin at SM Entertainment has labelled her as a psycho in the office setting, and that they would not want to work with her again. Let's just say hypothetically that this whole situation blows over and business can continue as usual with Min Hee Jin still at Ador. What would this mean for the girls moving forward, as well as everybody else at the company? If it was already a hostile work environment before, what on earth would it be like if Min Hee Jin does escape all of these allegations relatively unscathed? In situations like this, if those who have done wrong do not get punished, they will simply carry on, often increasing their actions tenfold. No matter what happens between Min Hee Jin of Ador and Bang Si-hyuk of HYBE Corporation, there will no doubt be some internal conflict if Min Hee Jin stays with the company, while HYBE still own the majority of Ador. And we can only imagine that this will create a very awkward, difficult, and uncomfortable situation for NewJeans, because their careers will be controlled by two companies who simply cannot see eye to eye. They won't want to appear as though they are disrespecting Min Hee Jin and are ungrateful for everything she and Ador have done for their brand. But whilst HYBE still have so much control and power over them, they can't seem to be seen as anti-HYBE, as Min Hee Jin has been in the past few days since this situation came to light. Not being able to please everybody could only damage the girls themselves in the long run. Okay, now let's look at the absolute flip side of this story by looking at the no arguments, aka people who believe that NewJeans would not be better off without Min Hee Jin. The first reason why somebody might feel this way is because Min Hee Jin knows what she is doing, which is why NewJeans have the success they do today. Unfortunately, although it's something many of us don't like to see, controversy will always draw the eyes of the viewer because shock sells a lot more than something genuine and light does. Although a lot of us are in the mindset where we don't want our faves to be embroiled in scandals or situations that ruin their image, a lot of labels will consider any press a serious marketing bonus, whether it be good or bad, because it gets your name out there. And one thing we absolutely cannot deny is the level of success NewJeans have had within their short time in the industry thus far. In their earlier days, NewJeans received numerous rookie awards at various award shows, including the Melon Music Awards and the Golden Disc Awards, just to name a couple. At the 2023 Mama Awards, NewJeans picked up awards of Artist of the Year, Best Girl Group, and Song of the Year and Best Female Group Dance Performance with Ditto. Many of their songs chart highly, they now have numerous big brand endorsements, and according to Billboard, NewJeans have become one of the most recognized and most influential groups in pop. Not just K-pop, pop. With all this considered, yes, we might have serious doubts about Min Hee Jin's marketing techniques, but we cannot doubt the success of them, and with that resultantly the success of NewJeans as a group so far. People think that if a marketing strategy gets negative reactions, that means it's failed. Not at all. If the aim of something was to get attention and publicity, and that is what happens, even if it's bad publicity, that would be counted as a success. So a lot of people will be thinking, if it's not broken, why fix it? People might not like some of Min Hee Jin's work with the girls, but because it is currently working the way it is, then it should carry on as such, especially if we want the girls to carry on the same trajectory that they have so far. And to do this, the group would need her to retain her position at the helm of the ship, even if people don't like it. Another reason why some people feel that NewJeans would not be better without Min Hee Jin is because we cannot just assume she is fully responsible for their controversies. We've spoken a lot so far in this video and my previous one about the public's perception that Min Hee Jin is behind a lot of the controversies surrounding NewJeans, due to her being their creative director. However, it is important for us to consider the fact that at any larger label, there will be numerous people involved in any decision-making process. Although yes, Min Hee Jin is the group's creative director and also Ador's CEO, she will not be the only person who works there or is constantly generating ideas surrounding the girls, their image, and how they're marketed to the public. It is difficult for us to speculate because none of us are actually insiders at the company, as far as I'm aware, unless any of you guys have something you want to tell me. We can only assume from what we know about any large company that there will be more people involved, we just don't hear about them as much or know them by name in the way that we know so much about Min Hee Jin due to her history and of course her prominence as their CEO and creative director. It is very likely that there are whole teams working on marketing, some looking at statistics of previous marketing campaigns, what worked, what didn't, and this will get fed back through the system all the way up to the top. The people who work at the top of any company chain aren't necessarily the idea generators, they're often just the final decision makers. With this in mind, it would be unfair to just assume that Min Hee Jin is solely responsible for the outputs we receive from NewJeans and perhaps other groups she's worked with in the past. And therefore, this does unfortunately mean that there is no guarantee that removing Min Hee Jin from the company or the girls' creative direction would make this big drastic difference that we're all hoping it will. There could still be a chance that there's people involved at the label Ador who liked the whole outrage marketing strategy for the girls because it's been working, and they might want to carry on with this with or without Min Hee Jin. And last but not least, one more reason why some people might feel that NewJeans would not be better off without Min Hee Jin is due to the uncertainty for their future and image without Min Hee Jin behind the scenes. A lot of us won't see it, but a great deal of Min Hee Jin's heart, soul, and hard work can be found within NewJeans' world. After all, in the beginning, NewJeans were very often dubbed as Min Hee Jin's group by several media outlets, something which people were also not so happy about Min Hee Jin claiming herself. If HYBE does choose to insist on Min Hee Jin's removal from Ador, we have absolutely no idea what this could mean for the future of NewJeans. HYBE themselves do also have a lot invested in the group just as a brand, but there is a chance that HYBE might not want anything to do with any traces of Min Hee Jin in the group should she be removed. This could mean changes in concept, sound, frequency of comebacks, well, anything they choose really, which is quite scary. Aside from the uncertainty of the girls' career moving forward, we also have to consider the media's reaction to them carrying on and changing at HYBE's requests, and how this could impact their image. NewJeans likely will not have a choice in what Min Hee Jin's removal means for them or their career, but if the girls carry on as if nothing happened at HYBE, which is likely what they will have to do anyways just due to their contracted obligations, we have no idea how the media will react to this. But we all know full well some media outlets out there will do everything they can to turn this around on the girls and make them the problem. So if NewJeans carry on as best they can under HYBE's instruction for the sake of their careers, the girls will likely get branded as ungrateful or unloyal for so easily disregarding everything Min Hee Jin did for them. They'd be sellouts for sticking where the money was, and not the person who created the branding and imagery they represent and what got them where they are today. We'd all like to think that removing Min Hee Jin from NewJeans' management and creative process will lead to less controversies, but when we consider the fact that there will likely be some fallout that the girls have to deal with if she does go, it is understandable that some people might just feel it would be easier for the girls to carry on the way they are right now. After all, we do not know that their future at HYBE will be all sunshine and rainbows. We have seen what happened to some other groups at HYBE, such as GFriend after HYBE's acquisition of Source Music. Yes, of course, it is a completely different situation, and I am not in any way trying to imply that they will end up with the same fate that GFriend did. It's just important for us to consider at this stage that the outcome is very unknown to us at this point, and that can be quite scary. Okay, so now we have looked at our for and against arguments, we'll quickly address what my personal opinion is on this one. I hate when I start my opinions with, it's a difficult one, because I could say that about most of the topics we discuss in these debate videos, that's why I choose them. But again, this is another difficult one. I think the thing that makes this one so hard is that we don't have all the facts. There'll absolutely be pieces of information that either get misconstrued in the media by the time they make it to us as fans, if they ever make it to us at all. And I'm sure that there is more to each side of this story that we may never get to hear. So with this in mind, we can only base our opinions on the information we do have at hand, and that is what I'll be doing today. Somehow, somewhere along the way, this will turn into the girls' issue, even though it currently has nothing to do with them, which is why I think it's so important we are discussing this, looking at things from their perspective, and what the removal of Min Hee Jin could mean for them, etc. I have to look at this from the perspective of a listener who only ever seems to see NewJeans involved in some sort of controversy. I often feel like I know more of their controversial situations than I do about the group themselves, the members, and their talents. And while yes, I understand that this is of course the marketing strategy they have decided to use for the girls, I cannot help but feel like this does not do them justice as a serious group. Therefore, when we look at this situation, I want to base my opinion on what benefits NewJeans the most. And for me at the moment, I do think a change in creative direction, although scary, might seriously benefit the girls and their image in the long run. A lot has happened in the past 2 years that they have been around, but I don't think things are so far gone where they cannot repair some of the damage done to their image yet. There is still time to do so, and this would definitely be a lot easier to do with a change of creative director. Don't get me wrong, some of the things Min Hee Jin has done for the group and their image has worked well, and I can commend her for that. The girl next door kind of image, bringing the 90s back to K-pop, and NewJeans definitely have a distinctive sound that you will see and it makes you think of them. But a lot of this could have been achieved without getting the girls into the press with negative reasons only. I want the next time I talk about NewJeans to be how great their new album is, not how crazy the latest news story about them was. Okay, it's time for me to stop talking and start listening to what you guys think. The floor is yours. I want to hear your thoughts on this topic down in the comments. Do you think NewJeans would thrive more in future with or without Min Hee Jin's involvement? And that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching if you got this far. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't often speak about just one specific group for a whole video, so I hope I managed to keep this sort of interesting. If you did enjoy this one, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell to be the first to hear whenever I upload. And I will see you next time. Bye guys!